Hey everyone, welcome back. Mr. Hancock here. This is for Comp 1 with the Unit 2 Song Analysis Essay. What I want to talk to you about here is going to go right with Week 6. So we click into Unit 2. Week 6. Okay, so going through here, the main thing that matters this week is after you get your theme, which is your thesis statement. Once you have that ready to go, which by the way, you cannot move forward until you have that ready and correct. So if you're messing it up and you need help with that, you need to contact me immediately because you will not be able to go forward correctly. You can, but it will not be done correctly if you don't have that theme, that thesis statement ready. So we can work on that as we go. But this week we're talking about the C method. I have a video up on that. That is your structure for your body paragraphs. Every body paragraph, all 4 or 5, however many you're going to do, is going to structure and set up like that. So what I wanted to do here is talk to you about your outline, okay? So in here we have the outline essay, or an analysis essay outline template here, okay? So this applies to any kind of argument, to be honest. It doesn't have to be the song analysis. It could be a literary analysis, which is poem or whatever, but I wanted to pull this up and talk about it just for a minute. All right, so fill this out. I don't want you to write an outline, something separate or anything at all. This needs to be filled out for this assignment. And if you fill this out correctly, you will have a correct, nicely put outline, and you're going to see how much it's going to help you when it's time to go draft it. So up here, yeah, your name and the title of your paper. Now down here, author and the title of the work. That is the artist and the song title, okay? The topic. The topic should be a word or a phrase. That's all. It doesn't have an opinion in it. It's just a simple word or a phrase. Then your thesis. Literally answer that theme question from week 5. What is this song teaching us about blank, whatever topic you chose? You have to answer that question. If you don't answer that question, you will not be able to go forward correctly. Like, you can't say, this song is about heartache, and it's teaching us about heartache. That is not a theme. The theme has to tell us, what is it teaching us about heartache? You have to be able to answer that question. So take that theme question and say, what is this song I'm reading about? And take your chosen topic and say, what is it trying to teach me about that topic, okay? It has to be a broad lesson for any listener, okay? It's not just a lesson about the artist. It's teaching us that he has a hard time with trusting women. It's not about what he has a hard time about. It's what is his message to everybody, something that can reach beyond just his little situation, okay? So once you get that, then you're ready to go in there. Now, literally fill this out, y'all. Okay, so like right here, number 1 statement. Again, that's your topic sentence. Tell us what you're going to go into inside this paragraph. What's this paragraph going to be over? The example from the text, that's your quote, or that's a paraphrase. Now, which one should you do? Should I quote or should I paraphrase? It just really depends. In this situation, when you're dealing with song lyrics that are very pointed and specific, I just say quote. Quote the quote that piece of lyric. You should be no more than a word or a phrase or a line or two. Do not give big, long quotes, okay? You cannot get away with just filling up your paragraphs full of big, long quotes and hitting your word count. That's not where the magic happens. Number 3, the explanation is the most important part. If you go back and look at the C method and essay form handout with a color coding, again, you'll notice that the smaller parts of the paragraphs are your statement and your example. And the biggest part, the most significant, most important part of your body paragraph is the explanation portion. This is you making sense, okay, of what that quote has to do with your thesis. Remember, your whole goal is to convince your reader that this is the message of the song right here in the thesis. So when you go down here and you provide a piece of evidence, a quote, between 2 and 3, you have to imagine your reader saying to you, you know, I don't see how that quote has anything to do with the thesis. How does it prove the thesis? Answer that question. Use number 3 to explain to the reader how that quote you just gave right here proves the thesis right there. And so when you finally get to that particular point there, sorry, all the cleaning people came in and had to stop. I can't remember where I was. Okay, between these 2, the explanation. Use the explanation portion to explain how your quote you just gave proves the thesis, okay? That should be the bulk. And the trick is with this, y'all, is to use this time to think, man, you know what? The reader just doesn't get it. I see it; it's perfectly clear, but the reader doesn't. So how else can I say this to get the reader to understand that that quote proves my thesis to be true? Okay, proves that this is the message of the song. Okay, so there you go. Now here's some things to avoid when you go into this. Number one. Well, let me go before I give you those tips. So there's paragraph 1. So you'll notice too that when you go to paragraph 2, it's the same thing. Do the exact same thing for a new quote. Paragraph 3, exact same thing for a new quote. Paragraph 4, exact same thing. And in number 5, that's there if you need it. Okay? And this is the awesome thing about the C method, is that if you're low on words or you need just more content to prove your point, just go find another lyric, another example, and build another C method around it. And you're going to feel repetitive in a way. A lot of people are like, man, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over. That's a problem if you're saying this literally the same words typically. But you want to feel repetitive because your explanation should always be tying it back to your thesis. So you need to be constantly reminding the reader, this is what the thesis is and this proves my thesis. So you should be feeling in a way repetitive in that sense. So don't worry too much about that, okay? So here are some tips, and things to avoid, I guess. Number 1, avoid summary of the song. You have to imagine the reader already knows the song. They already know the lyrics. They already know who the artist is. They already know what's going on in the song. So don't waste time summarizing the song. That will hurt the C method and will really hurt your point in the body. That's one thing that we see is a common error with folks, is that the examples from the text, that's the bulk of the paragraph, and all it is a summary of the song, okay? What he's trying to say is, we know what he's trying to say as far as re-paraphrasing and simplifying the lyric. That's not what the reader wants from you. The reader wants you to show how that lyric you just gave proves the message, the theme, the thesis. The other thing is that this is typically a literary analysis. All that matters are the words, the lyrics, okay? The author's or the artist's background, the reason they wrote it, what they think about the song, none of that matters. All that matters is the song. And I know people like really love a lot of songs because there's a lot of personal meaning to it and stuff, and that's awesome. Trust me, I've got a lot of songs like that that mean a lot to me. But that's not for this paper. So please be sure to avoid putting any kind of personal touch, any kind of narrative to it. We're not pushing in any anecdotal or personal touches to this type of paper. All that matters is the song lyrics. So just focus on the message of the song lyrics, okay? Another thing, like I said, is like giving big quotes. You don't want to do that. Do not give big, long quotes. Just give a really quick snippet, and that's it. If it's usually a big, long quote, you can cut that up and have 2 separate quotes or 2 separate paragraphs. So definitely keep that in mind there, okay? And then for your conclusion here, it should be working just like your introduction did. Tell us what the song is again, what the message was, and how you developed your point from the topic, getting from the topic to the theme, okay? All right, y'all, that's that. So typically all you want to do is take this, download it, fill it out, save it. Then when you go to the song analysis outline here, upload it just like you did your essay, all right? And just like you've done a rough draft. And then submit that. Do not worry about the peer reviews. That's not until next week, and that won't work until you get this done anyway, okay? So we need to get this done and fixed up the right way first, and then we'll worry about all that stuff next week, okay? The way that'll work is once you submit this Sunday, October 4th, I will get directly in there and check it and leave you comments. Mainly with this assignment, I'm looking to make sure your theme is there and that we see a clear C method going on. I'm not going deep into comments. I just want to make sure that you've got a clear theme in your thesis and we have evidence and that you're making a connection between the evidence to the theme, and that's all I care about. Then we'll talk about peer reviews and all that stuff. Come next week. I'll have videos on that starting on next Monday, on the 5th. All right, y'all. That's mainly what I have for you there. Read that comma chapter. Let me go back up here. Here's a comma chapter. We are about to jump into a lot of the review portion of the class, doing some grammar reviews. So there will be assignments and stuff to pop up on this. So I want you to prepare yourself and start reading that chapter and taking a look at it, because I want you to start being ready to prepared to proofread your content. All right, y'all, that's what I have for you this week. If you have any questions, let me know.